Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show. Looking at the NBA here on Wednesday. After a great night on Tuesday, we will take what we can get. We're up 1.6 units as we speak. It's still late night here on Tuesday, waiting for this Denver game to end. And if Russell Westbrook could just get 2 more rebounds here in the last 5.5 minutes, we will be up for a double-double for him. That'll get us a full unit back at 2-1. We bet that after the Jokic in news that he was officially out tonight on Tuesday in that Celtics Nuggets game. So we'll see how that one goes down. But either way, we're going to go over the record here. I've got a few plays already for Wednesday, but still some stuff on the injury report. So we are going to be looking at the bets that I'm going to be looking at tomorrow and we'll probably get to on the live show as we do every day, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. So definitely want to make sure that you're subscribed to that page. Give that video a like, continue to follow along. Let's get right into what we've got here for Wednesday. Quick look at the card here from Tuesday night. Really bad start, it seemed like, and then everything kind of came together. Miles Bridges ended with the 7 boards. Jaden Hardy actually only had 2 points at the half and then did us the nice favor of getting 3 straight threes really quickly to get 11 points and ended with 15 actually, and will continue to be a look as a microwave scorer for Dallas as whenever they've got Kyrie and Luka out, but he might even have earned himself a bit more minutes even when those guys are out there as that scorer off the bench. We'll monitor that situation. LaMelo Ball, everybody had a heart attack because he didn't score in the first quarter, and then he scored 11 in the second, and then he scored like 10 or 12 rather in the third, and then he got another 7 or 8 in the fourth. So everybody just needs to remember to remain calm when the bets aren't going your way right away. Now, in the VIP, we are complaining when they don't go our way at first because that does seem to have a reverse jinx, and then we get those wins. So everybody in the VIP can keep complaining. I have zero problems with that. Porzingis ended up getting the 7 boards in the third quarter, so we had a nice clean hit there without too much to stress about. DeAndre Hunter was unlucky, I'll be honest. He had 17 points. He missed a couple free throws. He had 3 fouls in the first half, and that was what happened there. Was he was unable to play the last 4 minutes or so of the second quarter, which he normally would have played. So we lost 4 minutes. That would have been good for 2 points, I got to imagine, if he got up to the 32 minutes that we had him projected for. Ended on about 30. So we're okay with that one. And Brad Beal, just a bad shooting night, but the volume is still there. And that's what we talk about in sports betting. Can you trace the volume? Because if a guy's not playing and he's not shooting, then he can't score. So Brad Beal, 13 shots, only made 5 of them, still had the 5 dimes. Could have been better, obviously. So we ended up losing that one. He needed about 3 more points or assists to get there in a bad performance by Phoenix. But I'm not deterred from it. Like, this is what we do. We make the best bets we can, and then it's up to the gods. So hopefully Russ comes through, but at least we're back up to 42.5 units after a couple losing days in a row. It's how it goes. We regress positively, negatively, but if we're doing the best to mitigate the damage and get the wins and get the fullest extent of the value of these wins, then we should be doing well. And I would say 42.5 units up on the season right now before we're even at the halfway mark. I'm very, very happy with it. So we'll look to be above 50 by the time we get to about the 42 game mark on the season, which should be in the next couple of weeks. So if you do want to follow along and jump in the VIP, offering you guys the opportunity to get a free month by using code LYB and signing up for one of these books. You'll see those linked in the description of the video. Got Underdog, BetMGM, Sleeper, Better, and a couple others as well that you may not have yet. So definitely check those out. Sign up using code LYB, and then just send me a screenshot at JLBoogie on Twitter and Discord, and I'll get you a free month there in the VIP for those who are interested. Like I said, up 42.5 units, so we're going to keep rolling along. But let's look at the plays that I have on the card and the ones that I'm eyeing here for Wednesday. As always, going to be showing you guys propsmadness.com is the tool that I'm using here, the home base for everything NBA sports betting and WNBA when we get to the ladies in the summer. But use code LYB when you do sign up for a Props Madness account if you want to get 25% off your first month. Plus, you can get a free trial for a week using the platform to make sure that it's for you. But hopefully you're getting stuff out of this as I'm using it and going through everything I'm showing you here throughout the NBA season. As we kick it off here with this Thunder Cavs game, I'm starting with Donnie Mitchell. And the points, you can look at this 2 ways, right? With the points, 22.5 right on his season number. And I would argue he would probably have more points per game this year if the Cavs weren't blowing so many teams out. At the same time, putting somebody's prop right at their season average when they're playing the best defense in the league right now in the Thunder, especially the best defense at stopping a guy like Donovan Mitchell, that makes it a little bit less enticing. So the 2 things I'm looking at here would be assists, because this is definitely something that the primary ball handler needs to do a lot of against OKC, is facilitate, because they are going to put a lot of pressure on the ball and force you to get the ball out of your hands. So that's where the assists come into play. If you look at him last season on the dimes against this team, he went over in both. One of them was without Darius Garland, and he had 16 potential assists to get 5. The other game with DG, he had 7 potential assists to get 5 as well. 7 potential assists to get 5 is a little bit dicey. You usually want that assist percentage to be at about 50% of the potential assists. Anything more than that is going to be a little bit out of the norm. But I do think that 5 is still a pretty good number for him at minus 115. I just want to see what the market pressure does. But the bet that I do have for Donnie Mitchell already down on the card, one of the couple bets that I have early here, as it is still Tuesday night, is going to be the rebounds. And the thing that I'm actually really grateful to my boy Modai, who showed me this on the live show today that we did at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, like we're doing every day. If you go to NBA.com stats page and you look at a team's opponent and see how many rebounds they allow their opponent to get, right? You can actually, first of all, Oklahoma City, second worst, allowing 47 rebounds per game to their opponent. But if you make this guards, this is the majority of the way that teams are getting their rebounds against them is from the guard position. So if you change all positions inside the filters to guard and hit get stats, you can see how many rebounds or stats in general that a team gives up to a specific position, or guards in general, which I think is better than point guard, shooting guard. I think those are getting a little bit too much like mixed up, right? At their base, they're not that different anymore from each other, especially on the Cavs, where Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell could both be considered the point guard, to be honest. But if you make it guards and you go to opponent rebounds, Oklahoma City is not only giving up the most per game to the guard position, they're giving up 8 more rebounds per game than the opponent, the second worst team, which is the Knicks, who are also giving up a ton because they both take a lot of threes and don't have that good of rebounding guards, to be honest, for at least for the Knicks. For the Thunder, they're taking a lot of long shots and they're just giving up a lot to the guards from that standpoint because the ball is landing further from the basket. So that's why I'm taking Donnie on the rebounds here. And like I said, the points would probably be higher if they weren't getting blown out so much. But I would also argue that the rebounds would be higher if they weren't getting blown out so much. And if you look at him when he plays 34 minutes, which is what he averages and what they'd like him to average, he just hasn't had to play it that much. But when he has had to play at least 34 minutes, he's over an 8 of 14 and he's averaging 6.2. Rebounds, probably more than any other stat, require minutes on the floor because it's harder to predict when the ball is going to come your way, especially when you're a guard. But when you give him 34 minutes, this seems like a very, very sturdy bet to be able to make. So we're going to hit him for the plus money, especially at plus 135. The odds are really what make this bet so worth it. I'd also like to say that I'm going to hit a double-double for Jared Allen in this game, but I don't know that I trust it right now. I'm going to see what the market does right now for the double-double for Jay Allen. It is at about plus 105, so it's probably going to be hovering right around there in the morning time as well. Once again, something that I think we can get a better understanding of with market pressure. How are other people going to be betting this with Jay Allen, and see if we can't take advantage of other people misplacing their bets, essentially. Next game we have here, the Sixers and the Wizards. Not going to be a thing of pretty game at all, but I will at least show you that on the injury report here, if we're looking at the official NBA injury report that comes out from the teams to the league, which they then send out to us. If we go to this Wizards game, we're not going to see the Wizards report just yet because they are on the second leg of a back-to-back, just got waxed by the Rockets, and they're probably about to get waxed by the Sixers. But look at all these injuries for the Sixers. Andre Drummond's questionable. Joel's already out. Paul George is out. Kyle Lowry is out. KJ Martin is out. And Jared McCain, as we know, still out for the season. So if Andre Drummond doesn't play or does play, it's actually pretty impactful. And I haven't placed a bet just yet, but I believe the best look here is going to be Kelly Oubre on the points at 17.5. And you can see this is at about even money, minus 102, minus 105 on a lot of these books, which does indicate that it might get bet down to even lower to 16.5 when people might just blindly look at 17.5 and go, well, that's so far below his season average of 13 that I can't take it. Yeah, but he's playing without Paul George and all these dudes, right? And so what I want to know here that I'll show you guys is how does he play when he's on the floor without any of the guys that we're going to be seeing play tonight here for on Wednesday night for the 76ers. So what I've got here, I've got Fantasy Labs pulled up, which I've shown you guys before. This helps you see on-off numbers. So when Caleb Martin, Kelly Oubre, Tyrese Maxey, those three guys you can see listed in green here, they're going to be playing. So when they're on court, without all these dudes who I put off court in red over here, we got Drummond is questionable, but I want to show you the impact that he has on these guys when he's in or out. Then Jared McCain for sure out, as is all the other guys I just mentioned, right? That we just went through on the injury report. So all those guys are off court, and I'm showing you now with Andre Drummond off court as well. For Kelly Oubre, this is not going to be as helpful. In fact, let me take out Caleb Martin. Let me just show you Kelly Oubre on court with Tyrese Maxey without all of these dudes that are in the red over here. Well, he's at 34, basically 33.5 points per 36 minutes. So that's a really good start. Now, the rebounds, not as good, right? Those are at about 3.6 with Andre Drummond off court and everybody off court. Not going to be seeing many rebounds. Now, this is a small sample size too, so it's not the sort of end-all be-all, but it does show you that Kelly Oubre's points and his field goal attempts are very high when he's playing without, most importantly, George and Embiid, right? And even Jared McCain while playing alongside Tyrese Maxey. So you're going to see both these guys take the bulk of the shots in this situation. If we take Andre Drummond out now, and this shows you the importance of Drummond on or off the court, well, the rebounds start to actually go up for Kelly Oubre a bit. And if we actually put Andre Drummond on court here, then it's going to show you at about 5 rebounds or so for Kelly Oubre per 36, but he's still at 20 points, and he's still at about 17 shots. So if he's taking about a shot every other minute, right, that's going to be good for someone that's almost definitely going to play 32 to 35, maybe 36 minutes. We just saw him come off of a really nice performance here against Phoenix, played 38 minutes in the 10-point loss, and that was with Paul George right out there. So I do think we're going to see Kelly get a lot of run in this game. If you give him 30, 35 minutes, don't worry about the hit rates, just worry about the time on the floor. In fact, if I put this up at least 35 minutes, obviously this is going to be up at about 15.8 points. It's a lot better. I think 36 minutes, he should have a 20-point projection, and that's what I have for him. So at 17 and a half points, I am going to be looking at this bet to go to the over for Oubre on the points. The rebounds is something we've been looking at a lot in the VIP, and I do like the look here, but they got this bitch at 7.5 already because they're also aware. Like, we're not getting one over on the books with the rebounds with Kelly O, but we can still get some value on the points. Let's get to another game that I have a bet here and look at this Milwaukee-San Antonio game where I do think that San Antonio is probably going to win this game. I'm not going to lie to you. But here's where I'm at with Dame. That is what I like more than anything is the points. And you can still get 21.5. I do see this going to 22.5, but I played it at 21.5, minus 120. And I told the VIP I would play this up to 22.5 points for minus 110, which you can still get on DraftKings right now. I'm not sure how that's going to move, but putting this video out here in the next couple minutes. So hopefully you guys can get the stuff as you check it out. For Dame, it's very simple. I'm actually taking Dame in part as a way to try to make up for not taking Zach LaVine on the Bulls against the Spurs in this last game they played on Monday, because LaVine went clean off, and that's how you attack the San Antonio Spurs. If you look down here at play type analysis, they are giving up the 10th most points per game to the pick and roll ball handler. That's all Dame. Dame is shooting 53% of his shots and scoring 53% of his points off of shots from above the break threes, while San Antonio 10th worst, limiting that as well. Not to mention right here as well in the mid-range where Dame can get points, and going to the rim where he's also scoring 22% of his points right at the rim. So Dame's versatility is going to be really opportunistic for him to score against where this San Antonio team is the weakest and how they are the weakest, right? So that's going to be where we look here is like by position. You can see the hit rate. Maybe you don't consider it as good for the point guards, but where are the scoring point guards out here that you really trust? And Dame is going to be one of them with the amount of shots he's taking. So I do think the threes are probably a good look as well, but I didn't like the juice at minus 120. If I'm going to take 4 threes for Dame, I really want that at about even money. So even though I do think he's good to get the points in part because he will hit a good amount of threes, the free throws also give us more outs. I don't want to like really pigeonhole myself to just the threes. So I added just all the points here, 21.5 up to 22.5, minus 110. That's a bet for Dame Lillard. The Blazers and Pelicans are going to play here on Wednesday. I don't recommend watching it, although Zion might be back. Who knows if he's playing on the second leg of the back-to-back. I hate betting on these either of these teams, but one guy that we can at least go back to is going to be Toumani Camara. It's based on Deni Avdija, though. He's questionable right now. If we look back at this injury report for the Portland game, we go down here and see Avdija is questionable, Klingon questionable, Jeremy Grant is already out. So that does lead me to like Toumani Camara to get a few more minutes, especially if Avdija is not out there, right? If you look at the games that he's played without Avdija this season, we'll take it and put it there. He hasn't played without Avdija, but he has played without Jeremy Grant. You throw Avdija in there, who has been playing really well lately and has definitely dipped into a bit of the Toumani Camara minutes here. That's going to be why I like this so much. Is he out? Can I get this? Oh, this is already 6.5. Wow, I thought this was at 5.5 for a minute. We're doing this live right now because I basically thought Toumani was still at 5.5, and they bumped this thing up. So let's see what happens with Deni Avdija. I'll be talking about this bet on the live show tomorrow, and we can go to the last game that I'm looking at here, which is the Raptors and the Knicks. Don't know if Cat is available. So we still have to wait to bet on this game. But I do think we're getting some value here with these guys on the Raptors who used to play on the Knicks, and most specifically RJ Barrett. So I'm starting with RJ because I want to see what happens with him when he plays without guys, with guys rather, like Scotty and Emmanuel Quickley. Now, unfortunately, we don't have both of them playing with RJ a single time this season. Right now, if I put Scotty Barnes in and I put IQ in, they've only played once, right? Which was the last game where we were told that RJ was going to be on a minutes restriction, and then he led the team in minutes, which was a straight kick to the nuts from their head coach. Thanks for that false report. But now we know that he's not on the injury report anymore. If we go down to this Raptors and Knicks game, you can see for the Raptors here, nobody like RJ, Emmanuel Quickley, Scotty, nobody's on the injury report. So we've got all three of those guys. Well, RJ is the guy that I trust to shoot the most when he's out there with those guys. Now, this is only a one-game sample, but we bring back up NBA Fantasy Labs once again. And when the three of them have been on the court together this year, which was for 26 minutes in the last game, this dude was the one who did all the damage. And most importantly, he's taken the shots, right? So I think he's going to be good for another 17 to 18 shots. We saw that last season for him as well, when he was on the floor with these two guys, still took a ton of shots for them. And against the Knicks, like, he's the one that to me has the biggest gripe with them, right? He was the third overall pick, still didn't meet, or was he fourth? I forget. Either way, they missed out. He was third, right? Because they missed out on Zion and they missed out on Ja, and then we got RJ Barrett. So thank God that happened for the Knicks. But either way, now that he's back in the Garden, especially against a team, I think the revenge narrative matters the most for him. So this was at 19.5 on the points. You can see here, still some 19.5s. It did drop down to 18.5 on DraftKings. So I recommend hitting that at 18.5 if you can get it at pretty much any price, because I don't think this will be available at 18.5 for the most part here on Wednesday when you get to it. So RJ's my favorite play in this game. We're gonna have to see what happens with Cat and company on the Knicks before we can really get to betting on them, though. One more reminder, we do have the live show tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, doing that every day. Saturdays, we're rolling at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, but we'll get to that at the end of the week. For now, just know throughout the rest of the week and next week and the rest of the season, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, you guys bring your bets and I'll show you the value that we can find using Props Madness. Most importantly, the injury reports are coming out, right? All the news that we need about rotations and starting lineups starts to come out while we're on the show. So that's why it's such a good time for it. Hope to see you guys there tomorrow. And if you do want to jump into the VIP and not miss any of these bets as soon as I make them, so you can get the same numbers, and make sure you get every bet, because I'm not getting every bet into the videos. Obviously, I still need to look at more stuff. So that's what the VIP is for. You can get in for a free month if you do sign up for any of the sports books listed in the description of the video and use promo code LYB. Then go ahead and send me a screenshot on Twitter and Discord at JLBoogie. However you want to send one to me, that'll be where I'm at, and I'll go ahead and see the screenshot of you signing up, get you the free month in there, help you make these units as we're dominating the NBA this season. So appreciate everybody's time as always. I'll see y'all on the live show, and until I do, happy betting.